What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a video to kind of discuss about the Chicago Bulls and more specifically about Patrick Williams and whether or not we should be worried about his recent performances, as he's really returned about a week ago for the Chicago Bulls against the Toronto Raptors. And I guess we've seen some good performances, again, that Raptors game, but we've also seen some performances that do kind of make us believe that something might be going on there, as well as some decisions made by the coaching staff. So I kind of want to get my 2 cents on the situation. It's been a big popular discussion on Twitter as of late, especially after this game as well. So we're going to get right into it. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bull Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below what you think about this situation with Patrick Williams. Are you concerned and stuff of that nature? So, if you didn't realize what happened for the Chicago Bulls, Alex Caruso got fouled out of the game against the New York Knicks. And with that obviously happening, him leaving the arena frustrated with himself, the Chicago Bulls and Billy Donovan decided to go with Javonte Green over Patrick Williams. And it's a decision that I personally disagreed with. No disrespect to Javonte Green, but I always felt from the very beginning of this game, and pretty much especially after the first quarter of this game, seeing so many of those offensive rebounds go to the New York Knicks, that we needed a bigger body in there to kind of take the pressure off of Vucevic and Vucevic alone. So I would have liked to see Tristan Thompson start personally, but Patrick Williams would have been a close second, in my opinion, to start this type of game against the New York Knicks. But obviously, Billy Donovan saw things otherwise, and he actually opted to end the game with Javonte Green. But there's a reason for that as well. It's not like Patrick Williams came out there and absolutely had an incredible night full of fantastic highlight plays, being a superstar player. He didn't take a shot in this game with the amount of minutes that he played, which is a very similar situation to what I mentioned about Kobe White recently. And the same thing applies to Patrick Williams. Having 0 points in 13 minutes with 0 shots taken as well is not good enough for a Chicago Bulls player, and just not good enough for the NBA in general. You got to do better with those minutes provided. Patrick Williams did come out and say in the post-game interview or the press conference, when asked about this certain type of question, he basically said it's on him. He has to do better, and that's the perfect answer in my opinion, because at the end of the day, it is on you. It's nobody else's fault that Patrick Williams hasn't been aggressive, and this is the biggest weakness of his game, in my opinion, is his lack of aggression when it comes to playing this game, because he has the upside, he has the potential, but he doesn't show it because he's not an aggressive type of guy. So we need to try and teach him and mold him into being not the most aggressive guy. We don't need taking every single shot, but definitely to be confident enough to sometimes go and take the game for yourself. Try and make something, control the game in other ways. And I think that it's a big thing for Patrick Williams that hopefully he'll learn in the future. But the future is a long way down the line, ladies and gentlemen. The question is, should you be worried about Patrick Williams', performances as of late, especially this last game against the Toronto Raptors? My answer personally is no. Obviously, I'm a Bulls fan, so many people will say that and say, yeah, I can understand why you say no. And there could be some bias in there, because I really do like Patrick Williams. But I have 2 reasons as to why I say no. It's not going to be, it's something I'm not worried about. One, he recently just returned. Let's be honest, it's only been a week, ladies and gentlemen. So at the end of the day, he is in a situation where he had 4 to 6 months out of action for the Chicago Bulls. Comes back with a week to go and a week left in the season pretty much, or 2 weeks left in the season, and he's kind of being put in pressure situations. Again, he's not aggressive by nature, so just forcing him into the situation and making him be aggressive every single night is a very hard thing to do. These things take years to accomplish for any player if they're not aggressive and they have the potential to be that aggressive and be that potential offensive player. It takes years for some people, and I definitely see that going down the route of Patrick Williams, but he just came back. There's a point where you can, yes, acknowledge that he has been struggling And maybe with more weeks down the line, again, maybe by the playoff time, this will become a concerning issue. But for this point in the season, I'm not really concerned about a player that just came back not being aggressive. I think that's how it's supposed to be anyway. The fact that we saw him be as aggressive as he was against Toronto was surprising. I said it in my game reaction against Toronto. I loved when he took that game under his belt, took 8 shots off of the bench, and he made some of them as well. He played really well in that game, but it was a surprise. I don't think anybody expected that out of Patrick Williams. So, no, I'm not concerned. Do I think he has to do better? Absolutely. 0 shots, 13 minutes, not good enough for any player. That if Denzel Valentine did that last season, everybody would be on his back. It's that type of performance, unfortunately, for Patrick Williams. But he has to do better, but it doesn't mean I'm concerned about him. I think he will do better, and he has no real choice to do better because you don't get much worse than what you saw against the New York Knicks and having 0 points in that game. There's another reason why, and I kind of hinted back on it a little bit in my first response. Aggression is something, and playing with that aggressiveness does take a lot of time to develop. And last season was probably the biggest issue. I think if you watch most of my game reactions, you see Patrick Williams drop 10 points, stuff of that nature. Very low shot selection or very low amount of shots, and he was very efficient. So it made us want to believe if he is aggressive enough with that efficiency that he had under his belt, he could become a superstar player. Now, that hasn't changed. He does take low shots or low amount of shots, and he does have decent efficiency. Maybe not recently, but at the end of the day, he did just come back. He has low efficiency at the moment, and sometimes he has good efficiency, but it's still there. That potential is still there. That aggression has to still be developed. One summer league and one preseason is not going to overly change certain players. Just like, for example, Kawhi Leonard. And I know it's very unfair to, I guess, compare the two, but unfortunately, the mainstream media has compared Patrick Williams to Kawhi Leonard. But if you look at Kawhi Leonard in the beginning of his season, he had 4 years where he was not really being that superstar level guy, not really even close to that superstar level guy until he finally developed into that. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen to Patrick Williams. I think development is a very risky game. You either go all in and you succeed on Patrick Williams, or you'll probably give up on him within the 3rd season. I don't really know. I guess it depends on what other people will have to think about that, as well as the management. But so far, there's been a lot of faith put into Patrick Williams. They put a lot of time. They believe he should be a starter. They obviously avoided a lot of big trades that could have potentially happened to make sure they kept Patrick Williams. So they clearly see there's something in this kid that could be really beautiful if we can finally see it flourish. But that does come with those growing pains. Many teams have them. Many rookies have them. As good as some rookies are, there are growing pains in terms of their NBA seasons, and that's how they learn to get better. This is one of those things for Patrick Williams, because defensively he's already as good as he is. He's a great defender in my opinion, and he has so much room to improve in that area as well. So defensively, I'm far from worried, but offensively, it's about that aggression, and that aggression could be a couple years down the line. So if you're looking for Patrick Williams to average 15 to 20 points this season or next season, I'm sorry, you're probably going to be disappointed. It just is what it is. That's not what Patrick Williams is going to be for us this season or next season. But what he can be is an aggressive type of player. If he's going to be in the starting lineup, when the ball gets passed to him, and most of the time he will be the most open guy on the court, he has to shoot them. Simple as that. No passing down, no, let's just wait for the guy to come up on me so I can drive. Very few of that. You got to shoot the ball when it's put in front of you. And also, if you're off of the bench, you have a big responsibility to be a leader off of this bench. I know a guy like Patrick Williams, he's very young, but with the potential and the skills that he has, he's already taken steps over Troy Brown Jr. and Derrick Jones Jr. in the rotation. That's how seriously this Bulls rate him. So if he's going to be a leader, he has to be more aggressive. And that's what I want to see. Aggressiveness and leadership, especially if he's coming off of the bench, because he has to be a bench leader, in my opinion, because eventually this team is going to be his if everything goes well. So developing those leadership traits, developing the offensive game, and developing that aggression, again, 4 years down the line, we could still be in a playoff picture. We could still be competing with some of the best teams in the NBA, and maybe we'll win a championship here or two. We don't know. The future is obviously unpredictable, but that is definitely something we got to look into as a team, and for Patrick Williams as well. So short term, I'm not really worried, and I never expected him to do those type of things in the first place. It's still going to take a lot of time. Next season, hopefully, is an improvement from this season. With more time, he could hopefully become a little bit more aggressive. But the Bulls just got to keep on trying to instill that aggressiveness in him. And we'll wait and see, again, in the future, how well he can do. But this season, no, I'm not really worried about it. I never expected him to be aggressive to that point against the Toronto Raptors every single game. I would love for that to happen, but it's just not what he is. So, again, thank you for watching. I'll end the video here. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care.